right, welcome back to another episode of Proof University. I'm your host, Justin Obi, and today we've got Ryan here with us from Booz Box Cocktails. Ryan, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks a lot, Justin. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely. It was, you guys popped up on our radar like a year ago and have loved the marketing. I've loved the story. I thought it was like right out of the gate. It was a very unique product. I hadn't really seen anything like it before. So I think we started chatting on LinkedIn, and I said, hey, let's jump on the show. Glad you joined us.
Exactly. No, thank you very much again. I'm looking forward to chatting and telling you a little bit about our story.
Yeah, man. I did some research. Like, your background seems to be like, it was Provost Productions?
Yeah. So that's a little company that I started just based around myself throughout the years. I have a background in video editing. Within the TV industry. So that was my background. And then I got into more of the entrepreneurial side of startups and business right around 2018, 2019, when I started a music business. That was one of my first entrepreneurial endeavors. So yeah, that's where it all began and brought us to where I am today with Booz Box.
It's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, it seemed you were at Vice too, like coming up, some really cool gigs throughout the years. And then tell us about Booz Box. You started, like, what was the inspiration behind it? Had you been in alcohol before?
So the inspiration, it started actually during summer of 2020 during the pandemic. I was with my business partner, Norman, at the time. We started the idea pretty much around the dinner table. I had no previous experience with alcohol other than just being somebody that enjoys drinking it. My business partner, Norman, is the expert in that space. So I'm more of the business side of the things. So yeah, it just really grew with alcohol just by being around him, being around people of the industry, and just starting this idea really turned me around and just got my interest really elevated. And from there, it just really kicked off and exploded. So I'm fully invested and where I am today with it. So it's couldn't be happier, and I'm super excited to see where this goes.
That's awesome. So you and Norman were living together, and were you having some cocktails and you were like, hey, this would be sweet in a box? Or how did it, give us some insight give us the inside scoop on how it came to be.
We pretty much got the idea from a wine box. It's as simple as that. We were around the dinner table chatting about how we can start a business, and that we fell on putting Norman's cocktails in a box and getting the idea for a wine box. It made sense at the time, being that there's not too much competition in the space in terms of bag and box cocktails or box cocktails in general. So we thought that'd be a good idea to start this idea and just see where it goes. And being that there's not much competition, we thought it would be a great idea to see how it does in the space. And so far, the response has been amazing. So excited, excited to see, how sales and response pans out especially this year is going to be super important for us. 2024 was an amazing year, super great responses from everybody, our community, everybody involved. We'll see what happens in the near future.
You guys had just launched this past year. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we launched in February of 2024.
Okay. It's almost a year ago. But I'm sure you've been working on it for a lot longer than that. And you just mentioned, Norman, did he create the cocktails? Is he the guy behind the cocktails themselves?
Yeah, Norman is the cocktail guy. He's the master mixologist behind the brand. And I wish we could have him on this call today, but to get him a little bit more about his background. But he is the master mixologist, and he created the cocktails, and he has a ton of experience in the restaurant and bar industry, creating cocktail menus for various restaurants and bars throughout Jersey City, Hoboken, and New York City, and Miami even. So he's had a load of experience.
Got it. Because you guys launched with the 3 flavors out of the gate.
Correct.
You have pineapple mule, watermelon cooler, and a moonlight mojito.
Correct. Yeah, and we do have more plans to create more flavors.
Cool.
Hopefully later this year, hopefully Q2 or Q3 of 2025. But we'll see. Hopefully we get at least one flavor added to the list.
So are you guys? It's just give us a little detail on why you chose those flavors. What went into the product design the cocktail recipes, all that. It seems like I think on the website, on the box, it says premium cocktails. So tell the listeners, what is it made of? What's in there? If you can, give us a little idea of what it is if we haven't tried it.
The general idea behind the flavors was to really give a consumer a great tasting product. And it was hard to choose these three flavors, but we feel that these three are the most well-liked flavors, especially from a cocktail consumer perspective.
Okay.
Being a pineapple mule, we got the idea, or Norman and I got the idea from a pineapple mule being a Moscow mule, obviously, but with a pineapple twist. The watermelon cooler is a gin-based, so that's more of a botanical kind of fruitier flavor, added in with cucumber and lemon, so it gives it a nice, refreshing finish. Moonlight Mojito is a strawberry and orange flavored mojito with mint and lime. Yeah, it gives it also a nice, refreshing finish as well.
Is there rum in the mojito?
Yeah, sorry. The base spirit in the mojito is rum.
Okay, cool.
And I'm sure awesome. If I mentioned, the pineapple mule obviously is vodka, and the watermelon cooler is gin.
Very cool. Yeah, I think that's great. What made you go with three distinct? I mean, why not just launch with one flavor? I guess.
So that was a tough one when we were starting the beginning stages of production. We asked ourselves a little months later, like, why didn't we just start with one flavor? Why did we come right off the bat with three? And that's a question that I think is gonna just be with us for the rest of this project. But I think it was a good idea in retrospect, being that people have the opportunity to not only taste one product but taste three, and having that data is crucial for us. Being people, we can get the sense of what people like more, what flavor they like more than the other. And that was crucial for us this year, seeing that I think that people were really into the pineapple over the other two flavors, and being my actually least favorite flavor. Yeah, seeing that was super interesting. My personal favorite is the watermelon cooler, because I'm a big watermelon guy. But yeah, seeing pineapple be the favorite was pretty interesting. So yeah,
that is interesting.
I mean, just the markets that we're in so far, being New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Florida, California, Texas, we haven't really gotten to the rest of the country yet. When we do get to the rest of obviously the states in the US, it's going to be interesting to see what the rest of the country has to say about these flavors and for the data moving forward.
Yeah, that's super. I love that story because I think a lot of people will probably, maybe you did already. I'm not going to, when you guys launched, did you do samples and like taste testing with family and friends to help you refine the flavors? Or was it just you and Norman who were like, hey, these are awesome flavors, let's just go?
Yeah. So what we judged that decision on was the cocktails that Norman created for the bars that he was at. And we got a sense of what the favorite flavor was out of the three.
Gotcha.
So judging by sales at some of these bars, Norman came to the conclusion that the Moonlight Mojito was the best-selling cocktail at his one bar. Pineapple Mule was the best-selling at another. Watermelon Cooler best-selling at another. So we put that and used that to our advantage to make the decision for those three as well. So that was also a big thing for us.
No, that makes all the sense in the world. That's huge to have that data roll up. But then as you like bring it out in more states, will you either cut? Do you think you'll cut flavors that aren't performing, or just keep the three as the base flavors forever?
No, I think that keeping the base three is probably going to be our plan for now.
Yeah.
If one of the flavors really doesn't do well moving forward, and
it sounds like they're all doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it, is that there's mixed feelings for every single flavor. There's not one dominant favorite. Although the pineapple has been performing really well, it's just a really mixed feeling. Okay. So that's really solid for us. But yeah, like you said, though, later on, if a flavor really drops off and people don't really enjoy it as much as they did, or people aren't really feeling it in general, then I think a good idea would be to cut one out and add. We'll see when the time comes.
Sure. Yeah. That's cool. So this year too, I guess I want to stay on packaging and just brand. That's like our sweet spot, because I like Booz. So Booz Box, I think, is obviously, it's a great name. It's a very clever name.
Thank you.
Was it hard to come up with that name? It sounds, on paper, it sounds very simple, like obvious. That's awesome. I wish I had thought of that myself, but
yeah.
Sometimes the simplest things are the hardest things to come up with.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I would say that it was probably one of the easier things to come up with
Yeah.
when starting this brand. It came about being a box product. The box was an easy term or word to use in the logo or the name itself. And then
Hmm.
we just used an alcoholic term, which I used Google for. Um,
Sure.
and we kind of based that around creating the term booze. We just a quick Google search, alcohol. What are some synonyms for alcohol? We came across booze, and Booze Box kind of just flowed. So that's where the name came about, and then the logo pretty much came the same day. I'm decently okay with Photoshop. I put together something pretty quick in Photoshop.
Okay.
Had some cool fonts, some pretty basic fonts for the most part, but it turned out pretty cool, I think. And that was
Cool.
really just that was the logo was really just one like a once over. There was no like variations of it. I just landed on that first thing, showed everybody, and everybody was digging it. So we are like, okay, let's use this one.
It's awesome. That's awesome. So how long did you have trouble getting it approved with the TTB with the name
With the name. No,
or
no, no,
anything? Yeah.
no trademark issues, no TTB issues. Everything was pretty
That's
straightforward
awesome.
and
Wow.
smooth. So yeah, we thought that somebody would have had the name
Yeah.
already taken, and unfortunately for us, having trademarked it that early on, I think was a huge game changer and a lifesaver at the end of the day for us. If
Yeah.
somebody would have taken that name, we would have been, what do we do? After being in production and whatnot, it would have screwed us up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. How long did it take from like initial concept to launch?
Initial concept was June or July 2020 to launch was
Okay.
24. So about 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 years of back and forth, and I can't even tell you the headaches that we went through. Manufacturing and legal and this and that, and yeah, it was a pretty insane 4 years. It was a roller coaster. Yeah, bringing us to this point, having launched this past year after that amount of time, we're thankful and grateful
Hmm.
to have it made it this far and to be able to launch. So
Yeah.
it truly is amazing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I give you and Norman and all these other founders I've spoken with. No one really understands how long it takes to get in the game. It takes a long runway. We have clients that we work with like on branding and logo conceptualization and naming and all of that, and then the packaging and all like the TTB approvals. I mean, it can take a year. It can take years,
Oh yeah,
and you've
yeah.
already spent lots of money just to get to the starting line.
Yes, and the more, yeah, the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be over soon, and we're gonna get through this patch, and we're gonna come out the other side stronger and better, and
Mm.
that's truly shown over the years. But yeah, like you said, the
Yeah.
headache of TTB and legal, and the investment going into the company, it really changes who you are as a person at the end of the day, and it
Yeah.
truly changed me, for sure.
Yeah. How?
Oh man. For one thing, I had to pretty much change my life once I got into like the investment side of things. Pretty much changed my life. I moved back in with my parents, so I have my family really to thank. At the end of the day, they helped me out a ton.
Wow.
Just helping me in general, really run this business and get it to where it is today. I wouldn't be here without them. Yeah, that was helpful. And really, just my being in the music business previously, as you can imagine, there's a lot of late nights, a lot of partying, a lot of this and that. And it really brought me out of that scene and got to something a little more manageable. And seeing that lifestyle change crucial for me. That's another thing that I really take into account. Was it was a major decision to get Booz Box where it is today. So
Wow. That's amazing. Those are two big changes for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And not to say I'm still love the music and I still produce music all the time, and
Oh
it
wow.
truly is a passion for me. But yeah, just the business side of things, that was something I had to let go. So yeah,
Do you find yourself drinking more or less?
less than that. Yeah, believe it or not, less. Yeah.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah, so yeah, that's another thing too. Like I used to drink every weekend, throughout my
Yeah.
20s. I'm 35 now, so yeah, through probably the last 3 or 4 years, I would say, I really started toning down the drinking, um, and I'll give it 2 3 months sometimes, before I have a drink. But yeah, like before
Wow.
the holidays was probably like 2 months I had, and that was a long stretch for me. So I'm going to make that a steady thing though for 2025. That's one of my resolutions.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Thank you.
I find that I think that's rare. I was in the industry for 3 years, and I feel like there's a constant pressure to drink your own product, kind of everywhere, right? You're like buying someone else's drinks, you're sampling, you're bringing it into the bars, to on premise, off premise. Like people want, and it's normal. So I think good for you, man.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's
no,
great.
it's super hard, especially when you have an
Yeah,
alcoholic product.
sure.
Everybody drink it with you, and you're gonna have a cocktail with us, a booze box with us, and I'm just like,
Yep.
I've had it enough, guys. I'm gonna sit this one out.
I know what it tastes like. Yeah, it's funny. My first job way long ago, I started a company, and we were an events business, so a little maybe parallel to what you were doing. I'm not sure, but I was entertaining tons of people every single night, and they always wanted you to drink with them. It was like, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
this is my seventh night out. This is your one night out.
It's a common
Can't do
thing,
it.
yeah, with
Yeah,
events, especially,
yeah.
whether I'm not sure what events you were doing, but I'm sure, yeah, drinking was involved.
Parties.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
parties and stuff.
lots of
Okay,
parties, ski
yeah,
trips,
we can relate.
skydiving. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So it's a common thing when it comes to events. People just want to let loose, and people don't realize people like us that are involved in that industry, and we do it a lot, and we see it a lot, and that's just
yeah.
something that we want to just pump the brakes on and focus on.
Oh, completely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It's a blast, and then you realize you're like, this is not sustainable. To be successful in it, you can't. It's got to be. It's definitely a balancing. It's a balancing act.
Yeah, exactly. And you have running a business, there's crucial decisions to make. There's
Oh yeah.
strategy. There's, have to use your brain to the max,
Yep.
to the best of its ability. And there's no room for error, especially when starting a business. If you mess up, it could be like a life altering thing that really just, crushes your business. So that's something you
Yeah,
have to really take into account and be responsible at the end of the day.
for sure. Do people come up to you and be like, "Oh, you guys, you must have the best job ever. You must just hang out all day and party every night."
That's what people think. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
people think. That's something that they don't see what founders do in the background.
yeah,
And that's a lot of work. It's a lot
yeah,
of work, a lot of dialing in meetings every day. And I'm pretty much glued to the computer for the better part of a day. All my normal days,
oh sure.
obviously, when we're not doing events or whatever. So yeah, that's something that people just don't realize, but really see.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah, because they have no idea, and they're just seeing the fun part of you being out at a sampling or hosting some party, sponsoring a party. Yeah, for sure. What has been the biggest thing that you've learned this year?
Oh man.
I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
told you there wouldn't be any hard hitting questions, but maybe that's it.
Yeah. No, there's a lot that I've learned, really.
What's like the
And
the one thing that you'd be like you would tell yourself 4 years ago, maybe like something like unexpected that you had learned this past year?
I think one of the main things is bringing people into your company or partners or advisors into your business is
Mm,
something that I think is a really underrated and less talked about thing in terms of bringing these people on for strategic roles to grow
mm,
your business. And that's something that I really made it like a really like high and priority type of thing to bring on these advisors and people, to work consultants to work with us to help us
oh yeah,
grow. So without these people, and obviously my family, but like and people, other people that I work with, there would be no Booz Box.
yeah,
So we want this thing to grow, and that's our goal for 2025 and beyond. We want this thing to grow, and we want it to be successful.
hmm,
And these people that we're adding to the team, week after week, month after month, these are the people that are going to help us succeed at the end of the day.
yeah,
And yeah, that's huge for us. I'm all about building a team. I'm all about community and experience, and those things all mesh together. It creates a really explosive and hard hitting
it's huge.
product. Huge.
Yeah, if you can do it right, absolutely. And it's no small feat that you've launched into five markets or six.
We're in six right now.
Six
Six.
markets
Yeah, and
in
actually,
year one, which is
in year one, correct. And those six markets they're the busiest markets in the U.S. We have Florida, California, New York,
yep,
New Jersey, Rhode Island, a small state, but it does stuff. It does stuff. But we are talking. Yeah, there's things going on in Rhode Island, even though
Yep,
it's small.
there
Yeah,
are.
I went to school there. That's actually how Norman and I met.
Okay,
And
cool.
actually, the distributor that we're working with, I was a frat brother with him.
Oh, no way. Okay,
So yeah, that's how
very
we
cool.
connected. He saw we started a brand, and wanted to bring us in. So yeah, we've been doing business with them for that. So that's been huge.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, no, we've been chatting with a ton of different distributors for various other markets throughout the country. A ton throughout the Midwest actually. So we're excited
Oh, cool.
to get these going for 2025, and I don't want to confirm anything yet, but it's just obviously verbal chatter
Yep.
right now. Hopefully, when it does start getting going, people will start noticing that.
Yeah, just getting in the states you are in, unless have you gone like how have you gone about that? Is it like traditional distributors that you've been working with and partnering with, or have you used like self distributor concepts like LibDib
Oh
or
yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so we've been doing self distribution
okay.
for New Jersey, New York, Florida, and California.
Wow.
And actually, Rhode Island was our only designated distribution.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
yeah, that was something that we really had to dial in with over 2024. Norman and I we had weeks and weekends and long days just going door to door, selling the product to liquor stores and bars and this and that. We only got a few bars, fortunately, really. I think we're more of an off-premise play and a more
Definitely.
retail play, being a box cocktail. But
Sure.
but yeah, doing that door to door and hitting liquor store after liquor store for days and days, that's something that I'm gonna remember, yeah, for starting this company and getting it to where it is, because that's the work that we put in to get this thing where it is today, and that was a lot of work. Self distribution
Oh,
is
for
is
sure.
absolutely insane. I don't know how businesses, if there are businesses out there, liquor brands out there, or even other beverage brands that do this, I
Yeah.
give them a lot of credit if they just focus solely on self distribution, because it is tough.
Yep.
I think a brand needs distribution to survive, and that's going to be
Definitely.
huge for us as well in 2025.
Oh, it's a ton of work. Even when you do get full distribution on board, it's still
A lot of work. Yeah.
it's a lot of
Hmm.
work. You got to be out there knocking on doors, and I think with any company, right? People want to see the founding team putting in the work. Like when you hire team members and employees, right? If suddenly you hire those people and you turn it off, I think it all comes from the top. And so if you want the hardest working people on your team, build that culture, in my experience, I think you have to always do that work. And that work helps you refine the messaging. You're learning every tasting you're doing. You're getting data from real time data from people out there sampling, listening to their reactions, seeing what they think about the Moscow Mule or watermelon cooler or whatever, and you can refine that message on the fly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's even
You know,
something that we were conducting ourselves at the start. Norman and I were doing the tastings,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and when people would see that, they were like, they would look at us cross-eyed. Wait, hold on, you guys are the founders, and you're here at this liquor store doing this tasting. Like, what? Why are you doing that? We have to give them the whole spiel and tell them, oh yeah, we just started. We just launched a month ago, and here we are in a liquor store having to sell this product now.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's one thing that's crucial in starting a beverage brand, is that you need to have tastings.
Liquid to
Through
lips.
exactly, and that's what ultimately gets people to buy your product. Is
Yeah,
if you don't do tastings, the product is just gonna sit on the shelves. Let's be realistic.
right. And then
So
everyone along the 3 tier system expects you to be doing that, right? Like it's a lot of people. There are certain founders I've talked to over the years, and they're like, "Hey, we're in Total Wine. We just landed whatever, however many accounts, 50 accounts in ABC stores or whatever in Florida or whatever," and they're like, "Sweet, I'm done." And that's like the second on base, right? Like now you really have to get to work. It's like you came to market, you launched, and now you landed accounts, and now you have to create that pull off the shelf.
right, yeah, that's when the work truly starts. When you account, then the work you have to put in. And getting
Yep.
back to what you said about Total Wine, we launched 13 locations
Oh wow.
throughout the
Okay.
U.S.
Nice.
New Jersey, New York. I'm sorry, New Jersey, California, Florida, and Texas.
Okay.
And so far, we're getting really positive feedback and really positive reorders and things like that. And that's all due to these tastings that we're conducting at the Total Wines. that is our main focus right now. We are still doing tastings here and there in Jersey and the smaller accounts that we're in around our launch market.
Mm-hmm.
But Total Wine is just, yeah, that is our main focus at the time, for the time being. And depending on what other bigger chains we bring on board, then we'll reassess and figure out the next order of business. But yeah, these Total Wines, you can just tell with the reorders coming in left and right. It's, wow, like this is eye-opening right now.
That's great. How are you guys marketing the product? Like, yeah, what are your thoughts on marketing strategy? How does social play a role? I know you guys are big on Instagram right now, it seems.
Oh, yeah, so social media has been a huge thing for us.
Okay.
Influencer marketing, event
Mm-hmm.
marketing, yeah, have been those have been a few of the major things that we do to market the product,
Okay.
along with the tastings and things like that. But yeah, we did a ton of good events throughout New Jersey and in New York and even in New York City and other things like that. So that was definitely crucial for us to be able to do these and get the word out that way. I think that as time goes on and the bigger budgets we start getting, then we'll be doing bigger and bigger events and bigger
Mm-hmm.
tasting kind of events and have a little bit more of a budget to put toward our social media marketing. So yeah, those are, I think, the top little bits of marketing that I think are super
Right.
important.
What do you think has driven the most ROI like to date? If you were to pick like one channel,
The tastings.
the tastings. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
mentioned before.
Outside of tastings, second best.
Okay. Let's see. I would say some of those consultants that we've worked with,
Okay.
obviously they were going to charge you something, so that counts as an investment, in my opinion. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a few of these consultants were able to get us distribution and able to get
Right.
us a few placements. Actually, Total Wine being one of them. So yeah, that's been a huge return for us, just having that one small partnership.
Yeah. But in terms, do you view to create the pull to get people coming in, trying it, obviously tastings to help with the trial, to get people like continually your velocity, right? Like how many times are people buying it, and continually buy it? Do you give social media any credit to doing that? Or is it more the events, the event marketing, or how do you view
No,
social? I guess
I,
that's where I'm
I
going.
Yeah, no, I would see social media as definitely the main source of getting eyeballs on our product.
Okay.
Events are good because
Yeah.
it really is targeted. For example, we did a couple beer and wine festivals, and we did a couple. Well, actually, we partnered with, I think you've heard of them, maybe Buy Right. They're based in New Jersey.
Yep.
We're in a ton of locations there, so they put on events all the time. So we had the
Okay.
opportunity to be at these events and showcase our product. So the eyeballs there, super
Yeah.
super important because those are the targeted people that you want to get eyeballs on your product. That was huge. It was social media as well. Those are also targeted eyeballs that we want to get on the product. So I, in either one of those two, social media probably being number one. Yeah, I would say that's been a huge, massive ROI for us. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's because a lot of people. The only reason I ask, I think a lot of brands will think I got to get on social, and they post a photo of the product or whatever. Your socials is fun. Like it's fun to scroll through. It's a blast. It seems like you guys are having fun. Like you guys are putting yourselves in there, which I think is every brand needs to do that. Like it's like founder brand. Like you need
Absolutely.
the two of you guys behind it telling the story, and you're only small once. You can only do this once,
Exactly. Exactly.
which is great to see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree. And that's something that we focused on when starting this brand is that we want it to be fun
Yeah.
and we want that to reflect on our social media. And because that's the best place to showcase that fun and to showcase, you have to do one little bit of advice I do want to give is that you have to do a little bit more than just post photos. And
Yeah.
I know it can really get dragged out after a while and you use it all up or you run out and you don't know what to do. So sometimes a photo here and there is
Yeah.
good for a filler. So that's understandable. But to have those reels with really exciting stuff and that showcasing the events, we have a couple great reels with some of the events that we did. And I look at it all the time and wow, we need to do that again. That was amazing. And I just know that people seeing that they have a different picture of what Booz Box really is when they see those events, and it makes them want to jump on board and
Yeah.
be a part of the community. So, yeah,
Yeah.
huge.
Join the club.
Exactly.
which is on your website, right? So it says like, which I love that at the footer it says join the club, be the first to be in the email, like VIP invites, stuff like that. How is that, like building community? Have you guys, I mean, it seems like that's been a big active piece of the strategy as well.
Oh, massive. One of the biggest things. Without the community, we wouldn't be where we are today. Continually building this community and seeing it grow day after day, and we wouldn't be here without it. So it's huge, and we strive to continue to build it every day, whether it be through social media events, in-store tastings, whatever it may be. It all plays a huge role.
Yeah. Is this, I guess, how have you and Norman, like, how do you guys handle, like, difference of opinions, stuff like that? Are you the only two co-founders, or are there others?
Oh, yeah, it's just us two.
Rock, paper, scissors to decide, or...
No, it's funny. We've been best friends, man, since 2008, I want to say. So it's been like almost 15 years. More than 15 years. But yeah, we met in college and we really hit it off as friends. And we both moved to Hoboken in New Jersey when we graduated. And it's been great. It's been great. We don't really have too many differences or a lot of, and that's a huge thing as well. Not only just being friends, but we have a lot of similarities. And we never really argue. I don't think we ever have. Honestly, it's pretty. But yeah, it's one of the things that I think is it really brings out the success in the business, having these similarities and never arguing. It's crazy, but it's something that we've continuously just did, and it's been helpful. And because at the end of the day, if you're founders and you're arguing all the time, it's likely not going to work. Yeah, we're very understanding when it comes to business.
That's awesome. That's huge. So I guess as you guys have talked as business partners, if you had unlimited resources, how would that change what you're doing in the business today, if at all? Unlimited resources.
That's, oh man. Yeah, like unlimited resources in terms of,
money.
Marketing. Money. Okay.
Yeah.
So how would that change the business?
Yeah, what would you do differently, if anything, right? Where would you put those? Would you hire a ton of people tomorrow? Would you dive deep in influencer marketing more than you already are? Would you host massive parties throughout the country? Or
production.
Maybe you just keep doing what you're doing. Production, okay.
Yeah, we are going to continue, keep doing what we're doing. We do have to focus on a few areas in order to be able to grow this business. And what I just mentioned, production, that's something that we really focus on for Q1 of 2025. We are working on a crowdfunding campaign right now, which should be going live in the next week or two. That'll hopefully be able to get us a little bit more funding to be able to propel this business a little bit more in 2025. But yeah, that money and other investment money that we do get will go to production and inventory, upping that inventory, because that's something that we absolutely need right now. And besides that, yes, marketing, 100%.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's a tough, I once heard this, I thought it was spot on. It was the alcohol business is really an operations and logistics business with a drinking problem.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with production, with making sure you have inventory, with storage, with shipping around the country, like on-time shipping, or if you're self-distributing, there's probably a whole different can of worms with that you have to navigate. And I think for a lot of founders, they're like, hey, I'm going to start a booze business, and it's going to be a blast because that's what I like to do. And then they're like, oh, shit, like, this is a real thing.
What did I get myself into? It is something that if you want to start a booze business, it's something that you really have to be sure about. Yeah. And you have to look into your future and see, this is going to be my life. That's what you have to think about. This is going to be my life for the foreseeable future. And that's something that you have to literally dedicate your entire life to, because if you don't dedicate every single minute, hour of your day into building this thing, you're going to fail, honestly. You have to put in the hours and you have to put in the work. Yeah, I hate to say it, but this isn't and not an easy business. It's super cutthroat, and there's so much competition out there, and there's big businesses with big money, and you have to really rely on what you have as an early founder to grow your business, and that's very limited resources.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's probably the hardest businesses to succeed in. It's extremely hard. Yeah,
I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it day after day, and
Yep.
yeah, hopefully throughout this year and in the future, we'll be able to say otherwise.
No, but it seems like you've got a great product. People are loving it, so you've got a lot of wind behind you, and it sounds like you're building a team that's also as excellent as the product. I give you guys a lot of credit. Kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
All right, so we're getting close to the end. I know you're limited time, busy guy. So we're gonna wrap the same way we do. Always 3 short questions. You can skip if you want. First question: as a founder, entrepreneur, what's been the most impactful book that you've read recently, if anything? Or it could be a podcast.
It's actually called 0 to 1, and I have it right here. 0 to 1
right.
by Peter Thiel.
Okay, yeah, it's a great book.
Great book on entrepreneurship and building businesses and startups. Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you're just starting a business, super good insight and a lot of helpful tips. So that's been huge.
Okay. 0 to 1. Cool. How do you guys stay organized? How do you stay organized?
Oh, so I like to use G Drive for my organization because I am in front of the computer a lot. I have folders organized on my desktop. It's pretty as organized as it can be. But when I do that, I organize it to G Drive and give pretty much my whole team access to it. And that literally has everything. And by everything, the production, the legal documents, the marketing material, the logistics things, because we are partnered with MHW, they're sending over, they have a ton of invoices and POs and inventory lists and things like that. So everything chargebacks, everything is organized as best as I can make it, because I am a very organized person. I have a little bit of ADHD, or whatever you call it. What is it called again? Whatever. At the end of the day, I am extremely organized. So that's something I think being a founder also is super crucial in order to succeed, honestly.
To-do lists or no? You just get to work?
To-do list. Yeah, I do have a notebook that I like to jot down notes here and there. Okay. Yeah. So I have my calendar, my Google Calendar that I like to organize my meetings for the week, and that generally happens between 1 and 4, sometimes 11 to 4. Okay. But other than that, I'll jot down notes from my meetings and then just other things that I need to take care of throughout the day.
Sure. Cool. What about balance? Do you believe in balance as an entrepreneur? And if so, how do you maintain that?
Yeah, no, I absolutely do believe in balance. And it is tough being the hours that I work. But health is a huge thing for me. I like to get up just somewhat early, around 7.
Okay.
Take care of my gym session, my run, and then get straight to work around 10, 11-ish. And then when I'm done with my meetings and things throughout the day, I like to spend time with family. And that's really it. And other events that we have going on, that always comes in every now and then. So you got to attend those. But and that takes up a full day usually. But it really is important to have a balanced life along with work. So it is super important.
Yeah, I think one fuels the other, right? Like especially health and wellness, fitness. Like you need to have that energy to bring to the company. I totally agree.
Absolutely, it gives you that clear head. Being that I try to work out every day, that really does help out a lot. It gives me a clear mind, and
for sure,
my decision making is on point, and everything is just you feel like you're dialed in, and that's how you have to be.
I think if you're working, I think it actually boosts your productivity throughout the rest of the day. A lot of people think, I can't afford the time to work out. I think even if it's 20 minutes, like it's going to help propel the rest of your day.
Yeah, exactly. If it's 20, 30, anything. So highly recommend it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool, man. Ryan, it's been a pleasure. We'll have to have you come back next year and hear more updates from you guys.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll keep you guys updated as we move along. And thanks again for the invite.
And where people can get it, where? I know obviously in market, can they buy it on your site? I didn't even ask you that. I'm sorry.
We haven't implemented our D2C platform yet, but that will be happening soon. So stay tuned, subscribe to the email list, and stay tuned to the brand. Absolutely. And and we also have our store locator on our website if anybody wants to check it out and see if we're at a store near you.
Awesome. Ryan, thanks a lot, man.
Hey, thank you very much.
All the best.
I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Take care.
See ya.